Alright, so in today's video I'm going to be showing you a lot of first aid items, but this video has nothing to do with first aid. So if you want to know more, stay tuned. Alright, so when it comes to first aid kits, whether it's one you made yourself or a pre-bought one, it's always a good idea to have first aid in your pack with you, whether you're going for a day hike or a long camping trip. You never know what might happen, so having a first aid kit for first aid is really important. But today I want to talk about why in an emergency situation this is going to be one of the first things I grab, because I know that there's a lot of stuff in here that I can use to better my situation. And so inside here I have, well, right here's a cutting tool, the trauma shears. It's a cutting tool. I can cut cordage and I can cut a bunch of different things with these to save the edge on my knife. It's a secondary or a companion blade, if that's what you want to look at it as. Hand sanitizer is really good for starting fires. There's alcohol in it. But not only is it good for starting fires, it's good for cleaning up different things. I use hand sanitizer to clean saps and sticky stuff off my blades. And so if your blade is starting to get sticky and gross and hard to use, cleaning it up with hand sanitizer works really well. Here we have aspirin and ibuprofen. And so ibuprofen helps lower your heart rate and kind of calms you down a little bit. It reduces that throbbing. Like if you have a throbbing headache, you take ibuprofen, that helps reduce that. And so in an emergency situation where your heart's racing and you're in a panic, a couple ibuprofen can calm you down. I know a lot of people that when they lose a loved one, they'll take ibuprofen, and what it does is you're usually crying a lot, so it reduces the swelling in your eyes, and it just calms you down, and so that you're not just this emotional wreck. And so in an emergency, that could come in handy. Another thing, we have alcohol prep pads, which are good. There's alcohol, so it's good for starting fires, and so that you can get that initial burn, Another thing that's really good for starting fire is you have all these gauze pads that are made out of cotton. And so you can take these and you can fluff them up so that it's basically a flattened cotton ball. You can fluff it up, put some hand sanitizer or an alcohol pad in with it, and this should ignite really fast, and it should give you a pretty good flame to start a fire. Here we have another one. Here we have Band-Aids. I don't have the large Band-Aids in here yet, but Band-Aids are basically just little patch kits. You get a rip or a tear or a cut in your skin. A lot of these are waterproof and they're really strong, especially the Band-Aid brand. And so if it works on your skin, it should work on your jackets and your tarps and your tents. They're little waterproof patch kits. And so you can get them in all different shapes and sizes. And they stick really well. They're designed to stick, especially on your elbows, where you're bending and moving all the time. And so they're designed to hold up with movement and everything. They're usually pretty stretchy. They're usually really sticky so that they don't fall off. And they're usually waterproof. And so you're going to have to look at the different brands and designs and stuff to see what will work best for those situations. But yeah, you can put it, if you get a rip in your tarp, you can put a Band-Aid on both sides and it should seal it up really well. And so yeah, I think of them as little patch kits. You have gloves. Your gloves, a lot of first aid kits have gloves, but these can be used as containers. You can go and you can collect a bunch of water in these and then filter it or boil it in your container later. But yeah, the little containers You have super glue. A lot of people carry super glue. Super glue isn't actually a medical thing. People just use it as a medical thing. But when it comes to repairs, there's a lot of repairs you can use with super glue. And so that's an important piece of kit, not just first aid, but in other aspects of an emergency situation. And that's kind of the mindset I go through when I made this, is what else can I use this stuff for? One of the most important things is I think this tourniquet. This tourniquet is cordage. And not only is it cordage, but you don't have to worry about knots, right? It's got the mechanism on it, especially this rat's tourniquet. It's designed to be used on yourself. And so you can bundle up a bunch of firewood, or you can strap it trying to make a shelter or something, and it'll just lock onto itself. And so you're not worrying about what knot you're going to use or if it's going to hold. You know, it's all built in right here. And if it's cold out, if it's freezing cold outside, and your fingers aren't working because they're cold and numb, you don't have to worry about it. This is going to lock shut. You know, knots needed. And so this is a very important piece of kit as well, especially in an emergency. If you need to lash something together, this is going to get it done with minimal effort. And so that's kind of the mindset that I want to bring to you guys today. Is a lot of people, they don't think about first aid. They're like, yeah, first aid, you know, like it just sits in my pack and it's worthless, you know. If I don't get hurt or I don't end up in a first aid situation, it's just wasted space in my pack. But it really isn't. It's kind of like a survival kit that in an emergency, or if something were to happen, you can come to this and you can start a fire. You got containers, you got backup cutting tools, you have lots of ways to start fire. And it's just a good way of thinking about multiple purposed items. Okay, so even your store-bought first aid kits usually come with a lot of cotton pads that you can use to start fires. It comes with a lot of gauze rolls that you can use for cordage. Here's another gauze roll with some safety pins. You can use the safety pins. Scissors again. Hand sanitizer, pain pills, alcohol prep pads, large band-aids, you know, and all this stuff can be used, even tape, medical tape, you know, if you need to tape something shut. And so there's a lot of good purposes other than first aid in these first aid kits. And so I want to ask you guys, what do you guys carry in your first aid kit that can be used for a survival situation, or in case of emergency, it can be used for something other than first aid? Let me know in that comment section down below. Make sure that when you're doing this though, that you're not using something that you might potentially really need later, right? So if you're in a situation where you're swinging an axe all day, you're not going to want to use your tourniquet as cordage because you might need that. But if you're just trying to bunker down and get something built so that you can get out of the elements and you don't have the potential danger of a laceration that might need this, you know, make sure that your first aid is still available for first aid. But don't be afraid to carry extra band-aids knowing that they're little patch kits. Don't be afraid to carry extra gloves knowing that they're a container. So with that being said, make sure to leave any knowledge or questions in that comment section. I want to know, what is your favorite first aid kit item, and what are all the purposes of that item that you can use outside of first aid? Leave that in the comment section down below. Then make sure to like and share this video so that we can spread all of this knowledge and all your great ideas to the people we care about most. And as always, don't forget to subscribe and come join the pack. I have a new video every Sunday and Thursday, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.